Class is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Can you hear me and see my screen? If you could just type yes in the questions and we'll get started here. All right, excellent. Thanks, guys. Okay, welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I see a lot of new traders in the room here, so welcome. For Monday, we'll be here all week, and then there will be a new link next week for next week's webinars. Okay, so we'll go to bookmap.com if you want more information there. The product does come along with education. There is an educational course. It's 4 parts, and then there is an advanced webinar that supports the educational content. Okay, it starts at 11 Eastern, so in about 28 minutes, always following this webinar every day. All right, so the concept here is get Bookmap, learn about it, understand what it is you're looking at, and understand how to use it, and then see it in the live market. Okay, in those live market webinars, what we go through is understanding the order flow, not necessarily the software, understanding what it's displaying though, understanding the order flow, and then starting to anticipate price movement based on what we see. Okay, so good stuff there to support that educational process. All right, so let's go to the website and take a quick look, and we'll scroll down here a bit. There's an intro video here, a bit further, just information about Bookmap in general. A bit further down, NASDAQ total view. I'll go over this in just a second. And then a bit further down, okay, so connectivity. So first off, let's define Bookmap. Bookmap is a visualization software trading platform, okay? We're not a data provider, so you will need to provide your data for futures and or US equities. Now for the digital currencies, the offering is free, or the data is free. Okay, so we have a special agreement where we're not the provider, but we are offering it for free. All right. So you'll note in the connectivity here, there are a few platforms like NinjaTrader, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Okay, these platforms we connect via the API. So you can connect Ninja any way you want, for example, and then you can connect Bookmap through Ninja's API, all right, and be up and running. Now, Bookmap is a platform just like Ninja and these others, and you can connect directly to the data feed, and that is actually the preferred method. So it doesn't go through the API of any other program. All the data will go just directly into Bookmap. Okay, so you can connect via CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. Now, the Dev Experts is the offering is to that NASDAQ total view. All right, and that's what I was just referring to up here. Okay, it's a very low latency feed. It's excellent feed. You get full depth of data, full depth of market, and we can take a look if you guys have any questions about that. Okay, but other data feeds here that offer full depth of market is CQG and Rhythmic. Okay, that's it as far as I know. Now this is going to be the wave of the future. So in fact, Rhythmic even offers it for CME products. Okay, so CQG, as far as I know, we've been waiting to see if they're going to offer it for CME, but at the moment it just seems to be for COMEX and NYMEX, full depth of data. Okay, now what am I referring to with full depth? Let's just take a quick look here. In Bookmap, right? And we're looking at the ES here, okay, the S&P E-mini. this is what I mean by full depth. Here's the dome in Bookmap over here. Now, for those of you who are new, I'll cover all of this in just a minute, but I just want to go over this full depth because this is a really nice feature, and this is the way things are going in the future. Usually in a dome, we're accustomed to seeing like 10 levels of data. Okay, 10 levels on the offer, 10 on the bid. This is your dome in Bookmap. Well, here it is in Bookmap though. Okay, or I mean with Rhythmic, I'm connected to Rhythmic down here, as you can see. Okay, all of these levels are live. Okay, I mean these are, it's, you know, it can be 50 levels, 100 levels, it doesn't matter. They're all live. Okay, you'll see these numbers change up here as well. All right, and that's my point. Okay, that is a real nice advantage. And why is that? Let's just take a look at Apple for a moment here. Okay, and let me zoom out. Right. Well, at Apple, you can see full depth here, which is just fantastic. So, for example, well, here's the high liquidity at 175, the figure up here. Okay, where did we go to? 175. Okay, the market needs liquidity to trade. It came here, it bounced around for a while, and then it broke out of 175 and continued to the upside here. Okay, so where's the target? Well, here's 175.50. Okay, we'll check later, but a pretty high probability is going to test into 175.50. All right. Anyway, that's that. Nodeski, yeah, CQG only 10 levels on CME products so far. Okay, but COMEX and NYMEX exchanges, okay, so your gold or your metals, or you know, your oil or gas, those also have full depth of market. Okay, so that's a little bit about the data feed. It's nothing really about Bookmap. The advantage though you get is to be able to see that information so clearly in Bookmap. Okay, so anyway, just going over that point for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with that yet. Okay, so utilizing that dome on much higher time frames and very far away from price. Okay, that's going to be pretty difficult to see that on a regular dome, but here it all is displayed here in Bookmap. Okay. All right. So. All right, let's get into I'm sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself here on Monday. Let's go back here. So that's connectivity. All right, now let's get into some of the pricing as well, because we haven't gone over any of this. These are the packages that are available. You can look at it monthly or yearly. Let's see if I can, for some reason, cannot select that. Let's see if it does it here. Okay, there it is. All right. So you can get it monthly or yearly. If you get it yearly, you get a 20% discount. Nodeski, if you have to extend the limit orders, the book in the heat map, then that means that you're not getting full depth. Okay. By default, you're going to get full depth. You're going to have to, if you don't want to see full depth, you can just right click here and you can use format, and note how I have extended. It's not checked here. Okay. But you know, I don't need to. It's all set up. Okay. Now, if you want to limit that extension though, and that's you might want to do that. Like there might be a reason for doing that. Just to get the heat map here for you know, because for example, if I zoom way out and there's really high liquidity up here, the rest of the heat map is going to scale and adjust to make this look like less liquidity than up here, because this would be the highest, right? Anyway, that would be done under the settings here in the heat map. Okay, so that's where you're gonna find that. Okay, it's gonna be let's see, is it here? Advanced market depth settings. Yeah. All right. Anyway, back to website here. Okay. The products that are available, okay, digital and global. Okay, just a quick overview here. The digital here, as you can see, it's free, no credit card required. It's only one instrument in the GDAX exchange, and it's digital currency. Okay, so Bitcoin, US dollar, for example. You get the basic education, you get limited support, and it is real time though. So it's a fully functioning Bookmap version. It is real time. It's just one currency though at a time. All right. So you get a feel for what Bookmap is, and it's free. A digital plus here, 37 per month, and it's real time, as well as you can record and replay the data. You can trade right from the chart off of Bookmap. You can get up to 20 different symbols for digital currencies, and you get US equities delayed as well. And for both of these, the free one as well as the digital plus. Okay, you also get the advanced education, all right, and you get full support. Global here is the move up into futures or the ability to connect to futures, as well as the US equities through that DX feed that I mentioned. Okay, and you get all the advanced education, etc. Okay, the Global Plus, what that includes is all of the add-ons. Okay, so for example, the ability to trade right from the chart, and then these proprietary indicators that we put together. Okay, these are special indicators because they're looking at order flow and finding different players or different imbalances in the order flow. All right, like the iceberg detector is looking for larger players here. Large lot trackers, again, looking for larger players. Okay, all right, that's that. You can follow us here on Twitter at bookmap_pro for latest info, and then all sorts of videos here that you might want to check out on our YouTube page. Okay, so for example, if you're new, I would recommend watching some of these intro videos here, then go over maybe some of the features and components, especially for this Bookmap 7.0, this new colored heat map that we have. And then these order flow video snippets, highly recommend these. They're very concise videos that go through a phenomena in the order flow. And it's just the concept of it, going over it. We go over this in detail in the advanced order flow webinars. Okay, so these are very short, but you get an idea of what it is, and then you can learn from that, or you can take that into the advanced webinars. Okay, so let's take a look at the S&P here and go through what are we looking at here in Bookmap. Okay. All right. All right, for those of you who are new, this may look like something you've never seen before, okay? And it's actually really straightforward market data, about as objective as you can get, okay? There's only three elements on this chart. One is the historical best bid and offer. The other is the volume that traded on that historical best bid and offer. And the third element is this heat map that you see, okay? And this heat map is showing you the history of the dome, okay, where they're bidding and offering. So let's strip off all of this data and we'll add it on one by one, and I'll show you. Okay, we're going to start with a candlestick chart because you can look at candlesticks here in Bookmap as well. 5-minute candlestick chart, okay, pretty straightforward. Open, high, low, and close of a 5-minute period. That's the problem with the candlestick chart. It's of a period. It's aggregated data. Okay, so there's all sorts of data within this candlestick here that we just don't have any reference to or understanding of what occurred here. So for example, this is a breakdown of this area. In fact, we can see 9:30 open, and then we can see the move to the upside. We stayed up above this range for a bit, and then we broke down here. Okay, we're going to see a shift in the order flow here. I guarantee it. We can see that there is a break right here. Okay, and you can see that we stayed below that line here until right now we're starting to come up and test it, and we'll see. Right, we'll take a look at the current order flow as well. Right, so what happened in here? Well, what made the big change? Well, candlestick chart's not telling us anything. Okay, we're going to see all sorts of microstructures in here, and that can very easily be looked at here with the historical best bid and offer. So that's the first thing I've added onto this chart, is that historical best bid and offer. And that's it. That's all it is. Best bid, best offer over time. All right. And what this allows you to do is to see microstructures, though, within an aggregated period. So all sorts of areas here, you'll see that there's structures within structures, etc. It's important to understand the order flow within these structures. Okay, it's going to make all the difference. For example, up here, is this going to be trapped volume on this wick? Look at how we broke up above this structure right here. Okay, and it did not accept above here. Okay, it broke back down, it traded back into the range, and then it broke down below the range here and accepted. Okay, so there's a difference between a rejected and accepted. All right, but what about the volume? The volume is going to give us the clue or the key, along with the heat map of really what occurred in that area. So let's turn on the volume dots. Okay, and all we're looking at now is the volume on that historical best bid and offer. Right, and let's zoom into these areas here. Okay, and let's bring up that dot size a little bit. Okay, so well, here's where you can see this range. This actually looked pretty good, right? You can see the buyer stepped in here, okay, and they lift the offer up above here, but there's just no follow through at the top here. Okay, we rotate back down, and still no follow through on the buy side. In fact, we start to find more sellers. Okay, and then right here is where the order flow flipped and switched. We found more sellers at the lower low here. Okay, and you can see them driving price lower. Okay, bigger dots, more selling at lower lows. Okay, that's what we're looking at. All right, so let's zoom into this area. And you just very quickly just use this move tool and zoom in here. So, and let me get rid of this line. All right, what are we looking at exactly here in Bookmap? Nice little cluster here of aggressive selling. So these are just the two elements that we're looking at so far. Historical best offer is the red line, historical best bid is the green line. Okay, and then you see these dots. The dots are transactions on the historical best bid and offer. Okay, so and the transactions, the volume here, we use aggressor classification. Okay, so a green dot that took liquidity off of the best offer is an aggressive market order. Someone crossed the spread, they didn't provide liquidity, they took liquidity, and they wanted in the market immediately. So they hit the market buy button, and transaction occurred here on the best offer. Okay, red dot is the best. I'm sorry, the red dot is the market sell. Okay, so that's all we're looking at here, right? But the thing here is in Bookmap is you can see we'll zoom into this dot here and we're going to see more transactions. Okay, see, note how we're breaking apart all of those bigger dots into smaller transactions. So now we're looking at every single transaction that took place here. Okay, we're down at microsecond level. So I'm just demonstrating. We can go down into nanosecond level. Okay, here we are at nanosecond level. These are billions of seconds. Okay, so we don't trade at that level, but unless you are trading algorithmically or with automated strategies, you can see exactly how your algo is behaving, and that's actually where we came from with Bookmap. We came out of the HFT environment, so it was important to record all this data. Okay, and get a very accurate and objective view of the market. Okay, that was the goal, and you can see it was accomplished here. Okay, now note though, as I zoom back out and we compress all of this data together, it's just going to be a bigger dot. Okay, let me zoom back in here and just use this data tip tool and show you. If I hover over each dot, note the data. Okay, I'm getting the date, the time, and the time is down to the microsecond. No, it's down to the nanosecond, I'm sorry. And then I'm getting what the liquidity was here on the bid was 92 contracts at this price level. And then I'm getting the volume. So this was for a two lot, right? Let's just make sure it wasn't two different distinct trades. Yeah, it looked like it's just one trade for two lots, okay? All right, so, but as I zoom back out, note that we compress all of that into one bigger dot, okay? What is that big dot? We can hover over that, and it's telling me that's for a volume of 95, okay? So those are the two elements here that we have on this chart, okay? The volume, very precisely recorded within the historical best bid and offer, okay? Now we start to put that together with microstructure, and we really have something. Okay, not even your footprint chart's going to be able to do that. Okay, in their footprint chart, you're not going to be able to see a few different things. Okay, and I like footprint charts. I like the way that they show the volume very precisely. The problem with the footprint chart, though, is you're not going to see microstructures and how the relationship of volume within the microstructure. Okay, why is that? It's because it's aggregated. Okay. Any footprint chart is going to be aggregated within a time, a rotation, or volume, whatever it might be, but it's going to be aggregated. Okay, so there's a few things that you're not going to be able to read. First is that microstructure and how volume relates within that microstructure. And then secondly, you're not going to see the speed, right? So this sell-off here, it happened pretty quickly, and you'll see it in live market, but you're not going to see it historically. Okay, it's just going to be aggregated within a bar. Okay, so anyway, those are the two elements here, and most charting platforms out there display those two elements. Footprint chart probably being the best because it will display the volume actually where it took place. Okay, Bookmap goes a little bit further. It shows not only where it took place, but in relationship to other smaller microstructural areas, and then also gauging the speed. It's really simply handled by just looking at that historical best bid and offer, okay? And it's just non-aggregated data, right? All right, so, and where does this all go to? It leads to understanding how these markets actually start to behave. Like, for example, in the educational course, part 1, we go over a market mechanical phenomena called a book sweep. Okay? And what is a book sweep? Right? It's taking all of the liquidity from several different levels. Okay? So for example, the book swept down through this level pretty quickly here. Now there's buying in here as well. A book sweep would be something exactly like this here, where in a microstructural area, there's nothing but buying. It lifts the offer. This is how price moves from one tick to the next. It's through that aggressor. Okay, the aggressor comes in here and lifts the offer. Okay, and it moves price up. It's important to understand that phenomena, okay, because that's how we break into new levels, and we want to understand the auction in that new level. Okay, how strong was it? Is it sustained? What about on the other side in the buyers? As you can see here, this is a pretty strong move. Okay, and look at the retracement back up. It didn't even come back to this area where we broke from here. Okay, it came a couple ticks away. Now we're just gathering all of this information here from these two elements. Okay, the third element, and this is crucial to understand, is the let's take the candlestick off, and that is the heat map. Okay, now the heat map is understanding the relationship. Now we're looking at this third element, and we're understanding the relationship of the auction, okay, with the volume. Right. So what is the heat map? All right, let's define that. Let's take a look here at the current market in the S&P, and everything to the left of this vertical white line here is historical. Okay, everything to the right is current. Okay, so here is our best bid and offer right now. Okay, and this number is the last traded volume. Okay, here's our price ladder here. Okay, and then here's the DOM. Okay, the COB column is the basically the depth of market. Okay, so you can see that these numbers are always changing in the DOM. It's liquidity. It's contracts. Traders are providing contracts at these price levels. Okay, and they want to be sellers up at these areas here on the offer. Okay, down here they want to be buyers. Okay, and they're making this market right now. Okay, this is where the market knows it can find its buyers. You can see that these numbers are constantly changing. That is the adding and pulling of liquidity. Okay, so and that's an important aspect to understand. So where if there's no one who wants to deal, or there's very light liquidity at these areas, but maybe a big player down here, well, this is where the market can come and trade. It knows it can find buyers here. That's important to understand. Okay, so what we do in Bookmap is we take this data, these numeric values, and we turn that into a heat map. Okay, so areas of higher liquidity are painted different colors. The scaling's up here. Dark gray, very low liquidity, all the way up to this orange, which is very high liquidity. Okay, so immediately I know in the book, just by looking at the heat map, where this highest liquidity is. It's right down here at 52. Okay, 548 contracts. Okay, next level is up here at 60, and then also at 61 3/4. Right, so and we're channeling right between those areas right now. Okay, so now I have an understanding of where those larger players are, and I can also understand their behavior, intent to trade, because we take this data, and in this live window, you'll see that these, it changes. Like it just changed here from blue to yellow. Okay, now where this gets really interesting is we take that data and we transpose it onto the chart historically. Okay, so note the historical view here, that they're starting to show some interest on the sell side up here at 58 3/4. They're also starting to come in at 59.5. Right, so important to understand, because so these striations is the changing of liquidity. All right, and that allows us to understand the context of this auction. Okay, and we can zoom out, and we can now use our DOM on much higher time frames. So this DOM data is giving me all sorts of understanding of where players are, where they were on the bid down here, see if they absorbed, if price came into this high liquidity, or did they pull. Okay, a little bit of spoofing on the other side here, as you can see, with high liquidity on the offer. Okay, that was in here for a very short period. Okay, pressing price down or skewing the auction, or testing the demand, and you can see that we just traded lower. Okay, and we see though that buyers came right back in though. Okay, so interesting little area, and we want to see if if they start to bid up in these areas down here. Okay, so now we're looking at and putting together a complete picture of the order flow. We're understanding the aggressor and their where they're willing to take the trade. Okay, and we're also starting to understand where larger players are willing to provide high liquidity. Okay, and this gives us a really nice picture of the market. Okay, and to go over more of that content, I would suggest watching some of those video snippets on YouTube, or give Bookmap a try, and come join us in the Advanced Order Flow webinar. That's where we'll head right now, and then go through putting the context here together. Okay, all right, guys, thanks for coming, and we'll catch up tomorrow.